All right. What's up, guys? So I thought I'd make a little video showing the overview for the paddock or the paddock, just kind of showing how it works and so that you guys can get a better idea for if you would like something like this to go along your AMS2 career or not. So I got 3 files on there, but I'll just create a new one just for the sake of going through the first few screens. So on this one, you can import custom AI files, whatever you got going on. If you have custom AI files for your different kind of vehicles or cars, you can import them, or you could choose the built-in roster, which is just predetermined names, generated names for the different cars and their presets for the AI drivers. What you see here is what the game already gave me. This is not something I made, it's just what the game pretty much wrote in my other career saves. So, but for the sake of this, let's just use the built-in roster and we'll continue. On here, you can pick your name, nationality, your age. It's pretty simple things. At the moment, the optimization for this is not that much. It's pretty simple, but it works. So no complaints here. Maybe in the future, the dev can make this a little bit more with more options, but for the time being, who knows? Maybe you could probably like import your own logo or something. I don't know. So we continue. Now from here on forward, there's gonna be options for you to pick. Mainly, this is gonna determine how much cash you begin with, and how basically slow or fast your progression is gonna be towards building up your career. For example, in this case, if you're a former racing driver, you get 450K from the get-go, and your reputation is 55. There's something going on right now at the moment, and obviously the dev is constantly working on making the app better. But for example, reputation has to do with entering series, and the main thing that reputation does at the moment is it opens the door for sponsors, because you cannot go far in this game without sponsors, and getting to unlock those sponsors, it's gonna take a little bit of time. But seeing as if you start, for example, with former racing driver, you get reputation of 55. On the very first playthrough that I did, I started with passionate enthusiast, which only gave me a rep of 45. So in a way, like the less reputation you have, it'll affect the sponsorships you'll get on the early game. So take your pick. There's a brief description of what the perk does on the right side. For example, if you pick lottery winner, you get 1 million, which is good cash, but your reputation is only 20. So picking this one, you can see what it does here. It says heavy media curiosity from day one. That means media is gonna be more open to get your attention, and it'll have a boost in growing your when growing in your media. New money, old habits, debts, and shaky finances. So I haven't played with this one yet. Probably what that one means is you won't have a good amount of cash if you try to get a loan. That's just what, off the top of my head, that's what I think. I haven't played with this one yet. So the edge on this, you can spend your way into the room quickly, and the story guarantees attention from the moment you arrive. So that's just because, I don't know, you won the lottery, suddenly everybody's saying, holy crap, he won the lottery and he bought a team. And so you get more press. The risk, you start with money, but almost none of the invisible habits that stop a new team from embarrassing itself. So you only get cash. You probably won't get, you probably will, I don't know, get crappy staff members or race mechanics or the like. Now, I want to point something out real quick. Let's start with this one, Tech Investor. I think is the highest, it comes with the highest cash. Keep in mind, guys, this is a work in progress. This is early access / alpha access to the application. I bought this for $12. To me, that's just like a pizza on a weekend. So it's not a big deal to me, but the developer does have like a demo for you guys to try out. Having said that, keep in mind that this is the balance on some of these things are subject to change. It still needs balancing. There are some things that are too easy to get, others not so much. So there's gonna be a lot of tweaks in this journey of the paddock. So just to keep that in mind. Now, on the second screen, this has to do with your lunch. How much money, I guess, you want to spend. If you see here, measure lunch. Up front, you pay $70K, and then you're gonna be paying $19K a week for however long the lunch is. If we do aggressive lunch, you pay $240K up front, and you'll be spending $36K per week for however the lunch is gonna be. I haven't got a clue of how long those are. I'm not even sure if it's like a set time or if it's just like a random generated time. But in this case, we're gonna go with bare bones. So we only pay $30K. That's $14K a week for however the lunch goes. It says you keep the project alive longer, but the paddock reads these as fragile operations, still trying to make itself real. So the thing that this does is the board releases a deeper share of the funds up front. The paddock treats you as an amateur entry. The board stays patient. Nobody expects miracles. So like I said, it's more about how much cash you get coming in. It's about how demanding the board is going to be with you as far as getting P1, P2, P3, etc. And it's also how much time it will take for you to grow a fan base and prestige, which has to do with sponsors. So right now, we just go with the measured lunch. And this is for you guys to read it. And like I said before, just keep in mind that the balance of these options are subject to change. They could be a big change. It could be a minimal difference. I don't know. You might not even feel the difficulty level depending on your choices. So step 5 of 11. We pick, and all of this up here is going to be changing. Up front, 365K. This is how much you get from the board. So if we do structure support base, the team starts looking composed and professional, but you pay heavily for the calm before results exist. So what it does, engineer, commercial, and ops leads all joined at lunch. Commercial office and logistics base open a level higher. So the only way to get the grasp of these options is obviously by repeating career after career. But just know that it has to do with the cash you get up front, and it has to do with just a little perks. For example, this one, a mechanic and ops lead joint at lunch. So you get a mechanic and an operation leads joint at lunch. At the moment, I'm not sure if these make too much of a difference. But again, it's subject to change. So we'll pick structure support base and freelance cover, okay? What would you drive? You don't own a car yet. This sets the budget lane and how suppliers read your ambitions when the search starts. This is what they suggest. Balanced used package, the sort of first car a smart new team actually chases. So again, it's more money for you. So like if you're planning on getting one of those expensive cars, then go with premium first target, because it will give you 650k up front, and that'll leave you with a debt of 13k, because nothing's free, you know. So this is money they're giving you, but it's also money you gotta pay back somehow. So let's pick premium first target, the biggest debt loan of any path. The car has to earn it back. Best part conditions and development head start. Status, a premium first move this early will invite plenty of side eye. So that just means probably a little bit more media attention. So we continue. Step 7 of 11. Calm operator. This is basically your play style as far as management goes. So calm operator, team finances start healthier. The board expects a little less. Again, the board expects a little less. Probably it'll give more patience attribute to the board. And team finances start healthier. That'll probably make your expenses a little bit easier in the beginning, meaning probably car repair costs are a little bit less. I don't know, signing the first upgrades that you get are probably slightly cheaper. It could be many things. The application doesn't really state everywhere this happens, but it's just so that you get an idea of what it does. How the paddock sees you. So Charmer, sponsor interest starts at tier higher. A tier higher, fans warm to the team faster, media pressure rises with the profile. So I would say this is the easier option out of the 4. Actually, sponsors delays, pay noticeably more. Okay. Car per phase. It's like I said, you have to really try different options and run your career through a season to kind of get the understanding of what these options do. What I could say is it'll probably be minimal difference. Is not meant for these options to be like a huge game changer. It's just to make life a little bit easier for you or a little bit more challenging for you. So let's just pick corporate phase. Philosophy. This is the things you'll be focused on first. And it doesn't mean it'll change your playstyle depending on how you manage things, but it'll just give you a little bit of an edge. For example, people first. Morale and staff quality start higher. They just start higher. That doesn't mean they'll progress higher. A free operations and logistics lead joins at launch. So you get an operation and logistics lead at launch. Several of these options would already give you like an established team. You won't have to look for, I don't know, a mechanic or engineer, things like that, because the game actually gives you like a actual squad that you will start with. So for example, instinct leader, the project arrives with momentum. Bold calls draw a little more media heat. Part to work slightly faster under the pace. So that means during the race you'll probably end up paying more money for parts worn. It could also mean that you'll probably pay more money for fixing your car. We'll pick those and we'll continue. Step 9. So you can take your time and read these, make your decisions based off of that. It still applies to a little bit of an edge when you start or a little bit more of a challenge when you start. So we'll just pick that. We'll continue. Next, we choose where you want to be stationed at, this is not a major thing, in the sense that, like, if you got races going on at Brazil, the travel costs will probably be less if you're stationed in Brazil versus, I don't know, France. Maybe if you travel, if you have a race in France, you'll get charged, I don't know, like 32K on travel fees, versus if you get races on Brazil, you'll probably spend like 5K on travel fees. But every single country has its own perks. So, for example, Canada, plus 14 media coverage growth, 10% sponsor prospect variety, 8% plus reliability preparation. At the time of this video, I'm still trying to understand how deep all of this goes, because I mean, the game does try to go deeper. Like, this is not surface level, but just like anything, when it comes to balance, things like that will probably end up being tweaked going forward. So we'll pick Singapore. Let's just pick Singapore. Sponsor pool in Asia Pacific. So 16% plus sponsor pool in Asia Pacific. That'll probably just give you more sponsors based in Asia, pretty much. I don't know how much of a factor this plays into a sponsor signing you under them, but do with that what you will. And again, all things are subject to change. So on the last page, you get an overview of the stuff you picked. Crew depth standard, running costs plus 10% on operations and race cost. So meaning you're gonna be paying 10% more on races. Sponsor deals, 11% more on deal value and interest. That just means you'll probably have less. You'll probably need less prestige in order for a sponsor to sign you. So we'll continue. Now, this part, the game is gonna pretty much get your options, and it'll generate the world based off of your options. Keep in mind that a lot of the things that you'll see that I'll show you right now, for example, when it has to do with emails, a lot of the messages are predetermined messages that, just like a business simulator, sometimes they do get repetitive, but the game does have like a set of events depending on what you pick down the season or down the road. So ultimately, I've discovered that pretty much at early stages, you'll see a lot of this of the messages that you saw on previous runs. So that's what I mean about a lot of the things you see here. They're pretty much predetermined messages or events that happen. But everything else, from the AI to the cars to the teams, etc., it tries to get you like a dynamic world. All right, so on here, this is the welcome home screen. This will give you a general information. This is your general information page. Your team vitals, how you're doing here with the income, the staff morale. It'll tell you how many staff you have, if they're energized, or if they're low. You'll see the numbers go yellow or red if they're bad. This applies mostly when you delegate races to your staff or your driver. That's what I discovered. When you actually race yourself, this is not like a huge impact on your race days. So board ownership, this tells you what the board thinks of you. Ownership and valuation, this is how much you own of the actual team. The board owns 58%, which is all your, your fancy people with the big pockets, versus 42% that you own. I know there's a system in place for this. I'm not sure how deep this system is gonna go, based off of how you run your season. I don't know. I know that at some point here, I had to click the retire button because my numbers were all negative. So this is an end game type of button here, which says, "Hey, I crapped my career. It went downhill, and I have to retire." You can also use this screen to buy your stock or sell it. When you sell, you lose control of the team or the decisions of the team, but they give you like a good amount of money when you're struggling. At the moment, though, just at the moment, this screen right here is not a big deal. At the moment, you can't buy or sell anything. This is at a pause, but it'll be nice to see where the dev takes this into. Who knows? Maybe you'll be buying, I don't know, several teams from the world for you to run or something like that. I don't know. This is where you'll see a general events that need attention from you. This tells you the week, the day. Up here, prestige, media, team valuation. This is how much cash we got to dispose. When you sign up to a series, you'll see the standings of your series here. And a work in progress means when you are upgrading your facilities or your team development, you'll see a little progress bar here showing you where that is at. As development takes days, like in actual days in the calendar to finish. I haven't gotten to like a late game state myself. I just know that depending on how far ahead you are on things, it'll probably take weeks on some things to finish. But yeah, this is just a general home screen with the general information. Now we go to mail. By the way, every single time you click on a tab, it'll give you like a little guide if you want to follow it, just to give you a general information of what everything does and whatnot. And in case you forget something, you can always click this button and it'll run through the same mini tutorial pictures. So this is what we got. I'm gonna exit off of this one, and I'm gonna go back to one of my saves previously, just because I have more information on my previous save. So we go to mail. Here you'll get all your different team members' mail, sponsor email, the board emails. So this is where you spend a lot of your time just answering people and making choices. Calendar. This will give you a general view of your calendar. So for example, here we got client day and finance review. It'll tell you if you got a client date, which brings in cash. And if you got a raise going on, like you'll see the raise, maybe like the standings and just the general information here. A really important thing early game is going to be your client days. So for example, on the 28th, you can only do client days once a week. You can't have multiple client days. It doesn't matter how many cards you got or how much staff you have. You're only allowed one client day per week. And on race weeks, you can't really do client days a week prior to race day. So, for example, on the 6th, we can book a client day. And when you do that, you'll see your cars here. If you got a crappy slow car, it'll generate a certain amount of cash. Usually is the base cash you see here. But if you have one of those fancy, like freaking 1.5 mil cars that are like super high tech, you'll end up making a lot more money than what is shown here. So if you got the buck for it, and to book like one of those top high tier cars, race cars, and use that for your client day, you'll generate, I don't know, probably like 15% more cash. One thing that at the moment it's what's the word? It's an exploit. It's the retained clients. So in the beginning, if you click on Gentleman Racer Coaching, it don't matter which car you pick. This is gonna generate one client every certain amount of sessions. So I don't know, I believe it's like 4 or 5 sessions. Each 5 sessions of this generates one actual client, which it'll give you like a plus 5% or something like that on top of the cash you're making. So as you can see, I got 8 clients here. That gives me a plus 45% rate on top of this. That's how much I get. And if I had like one of those $2 million cars, I'll probably be making a good amount of money on client days. That's what this one is, the manufacturer demo. Just bear with me because there's a lot of things that this game does, and the systems that the dev is trying to implement, that they're kind of deep, bro. So that they're interconnected with each other. Sometimes you can be jumping from one screen to another just to try to understand it. But this is the basic, right? Just click it. Someone shows up on a racetrack. They drive your car. You make money off of that. That's once a week. As you progress through your career, this is going to be unlocked. And what this is going to do, let me show you how you get that one. You go to the Manufacturers tab right here. When you pick a car, in this case, I picked the Jetta, and you start racing with it, this little bar here is going to be, and they got a bar for every single series, right? Actually, no, it's not every single series. I think it's just major car outlets. So Jetta, Acura, Cadillac, Dodge, Jaguar, you know, all the big brands. The more you drive their car, the better standings you have with that company. Eventually, that company will give you discounts on parts, and you'll end up paying less money on repairs for your cars. That's what this does. Every now and then, you get an option here that can get you the standings with it higher. At the moment, it's mostly just running in their cars. If you drive their cars, you'll get better standings with the company, and eventually the company is gonna make it a little bit easier for you on the repairs. So let's see. Program. So parts program. This is the first one. There's 3 levels here. Once I hit the 3rd level, I'm gonna have up to 3 perks here. So next, unlock customer support package and standing at 50. I won't know what that is until after I keep racing with the same car. I wish I had something to show you here that says specifically what it does. But off the top of my head, that's what it did. So I know that if I fix my Jetta, it'll be like 3%, 5% cheaper because I'm using actual parts from the actual company because I get discounts from them. So we got one active program. You could race several cars. The more you race with them, their company sees that you're racing with their cars, and they'll sponsor you like that. It's just a way to, and like I said, like I'll keep repeating these over and over, man. These things are subject to change, because like I said, a lot of the systems, they're great, but some of them need balance. Like they need rebalancing. Anyways, so that's the manufacturer tab. Not a lot, but that's what it does. You get perks based off of how often you drive their car. You get little plus perks here on their cars, just their cars, not in general, but their cars. So back to the client day. After you unlock the first, I assume that the more standing you get with the actual manufacturer, the more money you'll be able to get here. That's just my guess. I haven't discovered that yet, but that's off the top of my head. I think that's what it's gonna do. But that's this option right here. When you first start your career, this is gonna be grayed out. But that's how you unlock this. Second thing, please be patient with me. I'll probably go back and forth, man. I'll probably go back and forth. If something comes to mind, I'll probably go back to these tabs. Race day. So this is your race day. It'll show you your primary car. It'll give you details for how many cars on the grid. It'll give you an option for you to choose. It'll generate a random weather condition. Personally, I don't use that. Personally, in AMS, I just set it to random weather. That's what I do. And you got the different options here. This is just a reference for you. As you can see here, the game tells you that you can run your races however you like. How many laps, how many cars, blah blah blah. It's up to you. On the AMS2 side of things, but your AI drivers in this world are gonna be here. If you race with like 10 cars and there's like 30 drivers here, the game is gonna generate results for all drivers here, even if you only race with 10 cars. Having said that, that's like cheating, so you probably won't be racing 5 cars if this is telling you, hey, it's 31, bro. Chill out. But anyways, when you run AMS, right here, it'll say live session. Actually, you know what? Just let me run AMS, bro. Nah, we'll skip it. But when you have AMS going, so you got a custom button here. Before we go further, you can select the weather. It doesn't do anything to the game. It doesn't do anything as of right now. It doesn't do much. I don't know if the system is deep enough here that if you put light rain or heavy rain, this will probably affect the outcome of the generated AI down here. That's my guess. I'm not sure if this goes deep. I don't think so. I think this is just for you to get like a little quick made up details for setting up your races. Right? I usually leave it at sprint because I usually do like 15-minute races. This is where it's usually at for me. So when you're online, when you're connected to AMS, this is gonna say connected. You'll see like a green live connected here. Once you set up your race, practice. When you're on practice, this will say in progress. When you're on qualifying, it'll say in progress. And when you're racing, it'll say in progress. The way of the application or the game right now is when you finish your race, this whole screen changes automatically to the next race. Don't let that confuse you. After you finish your race, you just click continue down here and it'll show you the results for your race. This window right here gives you a little bit of the details that sometimes your staff will do for you. As you can see up here, it says R&D develop package pace the field has to answer. Pace the field has to answer. So because I got a little bit of development going, the paddock actually makes my AI lose a few settings here and there that'll give me an edge. Sharp crew preparation is a weapon. I think this is mainly when you delegate races. I'm not sure this does anything for you if you're racing yourself. But if I do attack here, actually I can't click it. There's a little bit of a bug going in here. At least on my save, this is like an old save. The developer has pushed a couple updates already, so it might be on my end that this is not working. Because on the other career saves I actually tried, this is clickable. But at the moment, this is like my very first, I think my second save. So it's a really old save. So at the moment, this is bugged out for me. I'm not sure how to proceed. I'll probably have to delete it. But anyways, the weekend plan, depending on what you got going on with the staff, these three options will give you a little bit of a boost here. This little bit of a boost is gonna edit some of the AI attributes prior to your race, which is the whole point of this the paddock companion. I think that's super important. Based on races and on choices you make regarding your development, you'll see that the AI gets tweaked. On some races, I see them actually fighting me a lot more than others, and it has to do with this. We go out to the next. This is the result window. So this is where you'll see. So for example, on this one in the Geneta Cup, I got a DNF because I crashed and I didn't want to continue. But this will show you all the results. You could go back and see. For example, on that particular race, I gained plus 2.5 fan base. Appearance fee banked on the start, price paid on the finish, no championship points, and invitational outing. So this is invitational. This was an actual race. Snetterton. So it'll give you an overview of what happened in practice, qualifying, race. As you can see, it's a little bit of annoying. Every time you click, the menu goes up, but this was already brought up to the attention of the dev. Hopefully he got a fix for this. But it'll get you the overall results, the points for practice, qualifying, and race. Should you want to compare, for example, your race in 2026, round 1, Snetterton. If we go to 2027, yeah, so I mean, all of these are invitationals. I don't think I got a 2027 result yet, because I think in this save, I'm still... Do I still got races left? No, I don't. I don't think so. But that's the result tab. It just gives you an overall view of the previous races. You can compare if you, for example, round 6, we raced at Snetterton again. I got P13. The very first round, it was P7. You can compare where you know, where you landed on quali and in practice, and I don't know what the hell happened there, but they pushed me back to P13. Series. So this is where you sign up. We got 142 series. That's 142 championships in general for the different variety of cars. I'm not 100% sure if it has all DLC. My guess is it does, because it has the Le Mans here. 24 hours of Le Mans, so my guess every single car and every single track is on here. If you click on it, you'll see the date, where it starts, where it finishes, and the different racetracks that will be part of that championship. At the moment, the way things are sitting with the paddock, this is not randomly generated. This was manually placed by the developer. So yeah. Now, when you buy your first car, you'll see here it says not eligible, no eligible car. When you buy your first car, it'll give you access to the enter right here. There's still a little bit of work to do in the sense of giving you access to some of the things that you should have access to. For example, for this save, I already have 100 prestige, so I basically have access to all sponsorships, and I can get into the 24 hours of Le Mans if I so choose. I don't have a car yet, so that's why I can't really go in. But this is all the available series, all the championships for you that you can do. For example, there's the tier entry level. This is entry level. So Janetta's, Aussie Racing, the ARCs. This is the prestige you will probably generate at the end of the season. I'm hoping that this becomes an actual setting you must have, or an actual number that you have to have up here in order for you to enter races. So when you first start, you'll have 35 prestige or 40 prestige, right? So I'm hoping that you won't be able to get access to any of these high tier races unless your prestige goes up and it's not just locked behind the car. But this is the championship, the series tab, the list for championships, the races in the calendar, the dates. It'll show you the drivers. In this case, it's not showing me anything because I'm not in it. But for example, in the Janetta, it'll show me the drivers in the tournament. There's still things here that need to be sorted out. For example, I think there's only 29 cars that you can actually get into this specific series. However, there's like 34 drivers listed. Regardless whether or not you're racing with the actual 34 drivers on the track, like if you're racing with 29 cars, these drivers they still do the simulation in this world. Like sometimes you see them down here, other times you'll see them up here. Usually the ones that do get results are just the 29 grid cars. That is something, again, that it's gonna get tweaked. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of work that the developer is actually doing behind the scenes to try to get some of these things better balanced. But that's the this is the series tab. You could also do based off of, I don't know, for example, the Caterham. If there's a specific car you're trying to, like, you can line them up based off of how much money you get. 750 million, 22 million, 16 million, all the way down to 5,000, which these are probably gonna be the kart racing. So that's the series tab. Now we go to the council. The council tab, at the beginning of every race, you'll see a question here that has to do with the championship series you've signed up for. Sometimes this has to do with changing a few dates in the calendar, but the system's already in place. Who knows? Maybe down the road there's gonna be an option for you to vote on a specific racetrack to add into the series or to swap out inside that series. But at the time, this already happened, so I got nothing here. I already voted. The system's in place. There might be a lot more that the dev is gonna do with this system. Perhaps it has to do with, hey, the climate for this particular race is pretty bad, super heavy rain. Should we cancel it? And you'll probably see a question here. Yes, no, don't care. And all of these guys, which are supposed to be the teams, are gonna vote. And this is also simulated. It's never like a determined outcome. This vote is simulated. I could see a bunch of things that you could probably throw in here that can maybe have to do with the world is gonna happen. It's just a nice system, at least to have it here. Just the ideas in my head that where this could go are just pretty cool. But that's the council. It's not a lot. It's not game changer at the moment. It's a very bare bones, but I do see potential in this page that can lead to major events in the world of the paddock. So this is the car. This is your garage. I'm not sure if you should say garage here, but for now, at the time of this video, it's the car tab. It shows you every single car you own. One thing I want to point out is every single car in AMS2 is owned one way or another by teams in the paddock world. So literally this Ginetta number 27 is mine. But if you look for the Ginetta, I don't know, the different livery, you'll see that it's owned by a different team that is probably racing in the series that I'm racing at. So I think that's a really cool feature. You will what that means is you won't have, if there's, I don't know, 250 something cars in the game. I don't even know at this point how many cars there are. You will never ever own 256 cars. It doesn't matter how rich you are. You will never ever own all of the cars in AMS2 because the world, it's supposed to be a like the cars are supposed to be owned by teams in this world, is what I mean. But this is your garage. It'll tell you the condition of the primary car. In this case, this is a primary. There's a little bit of a bug going on here in my save. I can't really choose these other cars to be my primary. So for the time being, I'm stuck with this one. But you'll see your cars here in the garage, the condition, pace penalty, condition. This specific setting here has to do with delegating races to your team. When you drive, this is probably not gonna be a big deal, but this right here, it'll be a big deal when you actually simulate a race that you delegate to your team members. The bigger number here in the negatives probably means you'll lose positions. So instead of getting a P1, I don't know, you'll get a P5 or something like that, depending on this number. Engine, gearbox, brake, suspension, chassis. This is how much you pay if you want to be servicing each thing specifically. So if I want to service the engine, you could pay the 5K to rebuild all of it, or I could just pay service fee to get that engine fixed. You'll get a notification in your inbox saying that, hey, this is gonna be put in the workshop for to fix it up. I usually delete the emails because I don't really like to see the whole bunch of emails here. You can always go to the archive and, you know, get everything. So far I got 404. I'm hoping that at some point, if you reach a specific amount of number, I don't know, 1,000, 3,000, I hope that the app deletes all these messages. I'm not sure if it's a big deal. I don't think it is, but if you delete something by mistake, just know that it's in the archives, and if it's not here, it'll probably be down there. So that's the car tab. So we go to one important thing, condition and service. This section right here, if you have a bad, like a really low bad system, for starters, you will not be race ready. It'll tell you right here, your car is not ready. It needs to be a specific percentage for the race. So you need to keep an eye on that to be able to actually race on race day. But one thing that I would like to point out is if you have a bad condition on here, it'll be reflected in your vehicle when you race. So depending on the livery, so for example, this livery is a specific vehicle in the game. With the newest AMS2 update, you'll see that your probably your engine is not good. It'll have a little bit of a penalty on power, for example, in that specific car. And the same thing goes for the AI drivers. So if they simulate a crash, for example, on one of the races, the system is supposed to get that data, and on the next race, it'll probably show a little bit of a penalty on some settings that have to do with reliability, drag, power. It's just like, I think it's like 4 settings, if I'm not mistaken, that they added to the XML files for AI drivers. But it's really cool. It's really cool that this affects to some degree. It's not a big impact, but it affects to some degree not only your car but the AI drivers as well, the AI driver's car. The development tab. In this tab, there's a specific amount of upgrades you can get. Each upgrade comes with the different perks. For example, reliability. I'm sorry, operations. So operations, the T1 workshop process audit. If you get this update, the workshop services will be 5% cheaper, and your client day income is gonna be plus 4%. Early game, this one right here, these two right here are really important for you to grab, because that'll make it a little bit easier on early game, because you're gonna get a little bit more money from those client days. It's just things like that. For example, the powertrain, delegated weekends and exhibitions get a plus 0.25 crew strength. What that means is, if you were getting a P12 on your simulated races from the team, you're probably gonna get like a P11, P10 on the next race. It's just little details that you can get. For example, in the aerodynamics of your car or cars, because this is like in general, the ability for your team to do things. So the first one, the T1 CFD baseline program. So for this one, it says exported AMS2 AI field is a negative 0.004. As you can see, I got all of them. So the next update, 0.6, and the next update is a 0.10. If you add up all of this, you got a negative 0.020. That's what I have. And the delegated weekends, it'll be plus 0.3, plus 0.5, plus 0.7. All of that gets added to your race weekends. In turn, you get better results on your simulated delegated races. So it's in this case, I'm already maxed out. It's a nice system in the sense that the developer can add more things to it that will affect the world of the paddock in one way or another. So it's pretty cool. The next tab will be actually it's right here. You get the summary of this whole thing up here. I got all the projects, 10 out of 10. Delegated pace plus 2.21. That's the advantage I get when I delegate races. The wear rate, my cars get minus 18% degradation on races. Disqualification risks, this has to do with the delegated races. So only when you delegate races, there's a negative 4.6 chance that your AI driver is gonna get disqualified or didn't make it. DNFs. You get minus 11% on charges to fix cars and things like that. And this is the AI field, gets a negative 0.020. All of them. This is simulating your car going faster and doing better. Unfortunately, you can't really do that in AMS2, so the best way to simulate that is by making the AI slower than you. And it does make a difference. It's not gonna be, oh my god, I went from P20 to like freaking P1st. It won't be like that, but you will notice it. You will notice it from race to race, especially in the instances where you have a boost. For example, right here, you'll see a little boost here. These green ones are a boost. You'll see you'll see a little bit of a difference when you're racing with the AI. So I think that's an awesome feature for the paddock. It's like a dynamic kind of world. Facilities. Motorsports HQ, again, this is what I got now. The next upgrade, this is what it'll do for me. Adds 9 to the team staff capacity ceiling. Unlocks 1 extra current construction slot across the campus. This is the build slot right here. I can only do one at a time. If I unlock this thing, I could do 2 upgrades running at the same time. I haven't done that. I haven't seen the need for it, but the option is there. Obviously, every single upgrade costs money. And to make money, you have to race. So this is the slower progression, especially because I struggled to get my first million at first. Now, as you can see, I got 4 million here because I got better at the whole thing. I upgraded things in development. I started winning races. I believe in these 2 seasons, I've only landed P1 just once. I think everything else has been P3, P6, P5. So I'm still fighting to get to the top, but you get all of this different things. Simulator, what it does is like test days, bank plus 25% extra. There's a bug currently with the test days. They're supposed to be randomly generated in the calendar, where you get a little bit of a boost on your race date. It's a boost that has to do with delegated racing, not you racing the car, but like your AI or in your team doing it for you. But so far, I haven't seen any test days done lately. So I think there's a bit of a bug going on with that feature. It'll be brought up to the attention of the developer on the Discord for sure. But this is what the facilities page looks like. So a lot of the perks will do wonders for you. Parts and service quotes a further 7% cheaper. Why this is good? Because when you're racing with the multi-million-dollar cars, they're really expensive to fix. So what you could fix before with like a budget of 500k, 800k in the season, once you get to those high level of cars, that 500, 800k is gonna be garbage money. You're probably gonna need like a 5 million to like 10 million just to sustain that race, because of the repairs of the high cars. So let's look at the market so that you can see what I mean. So the Lightyear, for example, the operating costs punishing. That means when you race with this car, and it's 1.6 million cash. That's new. Keep in mind, some of the prices here are not. There's some cars that you're like, what? That costs 25k. That's ridiculous. Again, subject to change. The developer might tweak a few things to make prices a little bit more realistic. But in this case, Lightyear, the Lightyear is 1.6 million. But operating this car is gonna cost a lot of money. So that means I need a lot of money to dispose of races with these kind of cars. The Pace is an Elite. It's a really fast car. Drivability. This is how hard it is to drive. It's just like a relative display based off the characteristics. For example, freaking Caterhams. This one should have less drivability because these are harder to drive, bro, for some reason. But yeah, some cars like for example this shifter, the operating cost for this is so cheap, bro. You probably need like, I don't know, 250k, and you're so good to go through the whole season with this kind of expenses. But when you're dealing with these type of cars, like the operating costs are bigger, so you need a bigger budget. Now you get the buy, the finance, and the lease. Just options for you guys to mess with and to experiment. On one of my playthroughs, I think I leased a car. Oh, actually, you could probably lease this guy. You pay 114k and you pay 57k per week. Oh no, that's bad. That's bad, because the money that you'll probably get from client days with this car. Oh, you know what? After upgrading all of what everything that I upgraded, this is probably gonna be good money if we try to do client days with this car. because it'll give me for sure more than 57K per week, for sure. But yeah, you can finance it. It'll give you a down payment, and it will tell you how much you have to pay in how many weeks. So the total cash after down payment is 3.78 million. That's how much you pay. And 6% interest, yeah. So this is the market. You could get used cars. Every single car in here, you will not find every car, because 90% of the cars of the game are owned by teams with actual AI drivers running in the actual championship series that we got. So you will not find every single car in the market. Every few weeks, the market changes. I have noticed that for example, like, I don't know, 2 months from now, probably this car won't be there. It'll probably be a different car. So if you want a specific car, you're gonna have to be like market hunting for it until you get it. Auction at the moment, this is a little bit bugged in the sense that you see the bid button here. Actually, let me make a bid on, let's see, the Jannetta 55. I'll put a bid on this one. Let's do it live. I'm gonna bid on that one for 16,000. So that's how much. So this is a live auction right here. That's how much. These are supposed to be teams. At the moment, I mean, it's hard to generate freaking teams for like every single. So these are supposed to be teams, right? Even though it says Ligear or whatever, but these are supposed to be teams. So they the bid now is 20K. So I'm gonna bid it. $22,000. Oh. Higher bidder, me. So I think for now we're winning. It just went up. So higher bidder, and it'll give you the team's name. I know it's a library, but this is an actual team. Let's keep going. I don't even know if this card costs that much, but okay, they keep going higher. So 32,500. They keep going higher. Let's keep going. Okay. So I'm leading. Higher bidder, it's you. Reserve met. So we're gonna close this for now. It says right here leading. Hopefully when we go to the calendar, they won't beat us to it. Having said that, there is a bug with the auction system. Somehow, after you run through the calendar, all of this becomes closed and inactive, and you can't do anything. This is already the developer is already aware of this, and he's currently working, at the time of this video, he's currently working on a fix for it. But you know what, for the sake of it, since we're leading on this one, let's see if we get lucky. This is how we go through the calendar. All those noises, every single noise has to do with like a good thing. For when you get money, you hear specific noise that you actually got income. So, fleet updated. Okay, our title sponsor. They're changing. So this is. Let's look at an example of this, right? Our title sponsor is marketing chief floated a richer deal. Rebrand as their house team. their logo front and center, our name in the small print. The check is enormous, but Noob Racing stopped being Noob Racing. So this is asking you, what are you gonna do? This is just one of the examples of the different event messages that might get repetitive if you, for example, do a bunch of career saves. Every once in a while, you'll begin to see that a lot of these messages, they're repeated because they're pre-made messages, they're pre-made events. I'm not sure if the dev is working in a system that is actually randomly generating the events with a randomly generated results. That'd be really nice, but I'm not sure how hard that would be. But in the meantime, this is what we got. We got to make a decision, take the rebrand, counter with co-branding, or keep our name. My guess is if we say keep our name, this sponsor is going to get a negative, is going to give me like a negative like. And my standing with that specific sponsor, it'll be less. The more negative standing points I get, the sponsor eventually will be like, hey, you know what? I quit, bro. We're not backing you no more. I'm going to pull out of this. You have to probably pay, or I have to probably pay a fee because the contract is going to be broken, you know, for one reason or another. So in this case, we're going to counter with a co-branding. So instead of them making the decision, I'll be like, hey, bro, you got to make me part of the decision too. Let's make up a new logo together. And immediately, let me delete this one. Immediately, you'll get the outcome for the choice you made. You keep the name and add their crest beside it. A smaller bump, but casually to the noob sleeps fine. So we got 30,000 cash and every sponsor's +2 satisfaction. So that wasn't a bad decision. Sometimes when you get a bad decision, you'll see like -2, -3 sponsors and negative something cash. But that's an example of events happening in the world. Let's delete this. Team principal. So it looks like as long as you don't see, that's what I meant about the whole auction system needing a little bit of tweak. So it looks like we got the car. Bidding on your Mini Cooper, close below the result you set outcome. The car remains in your fleet. Right. So I put, let me go back to the cart. So I put this car for sale. I listed it up for auction. And no luck. Nobody gave me what I was asking. Unfortunately, you cannot set the actual price here. This is something that the developer is working on at the moment. So I haven't been able to sell this car at all. However, we got this one. And there's a little bit of a bug here too. If you can see, my primary car has the actual picture. For some reason, this bug got rid of the pictures here in the display portion of my garage. But anyhow, I got the G55. We got it for 30-something K. If I list it for auction, estimated value 57. So that if I list it back for auction, it'll be listed as 57 and plus. But the auctioning system is a little bit broken at the time, at least for auctioning your cars. Because if we go back to the market, auction, right now it's closed, right? So at the end of every season, you'll get the auction market to go live. This is also this was brought to the attention of developers too. There's not one thing to tell you, hey, the auctioning system is live. There's not an actual message yet for you to know. I discovered this by looking into the market right after my season of the championship was done. That's when I noticed that the actual auction market was live. But the rest of the calendar days, all of these cars, even though they're here, you will always have a closed market, auction market. So you will never ever be able to bid until the end of that season you're running. That's when the auction will go live and you'll be able to place your bid. But in the meantime, you saw what the market auction system does and how you will be able to get cheaper cars, and how there's probably going to be a bit of a fight between the different teams trying to get the same car. Because again, you do not get repeated cars. You actually get the livery that it's displaying, the actual livery, like M4 GT4 number 8. This is a unique car in this world, so that's why you don't see all those cars available, because it's just what's the world throwing at you at the moment. As you progress through the calendar, you'll see that, especially in the used market and the new market, you'll see that these cars change every month or every couple months. Anyways, that's the market. Now let's look at the teams tab. There's a bit of a letdown here, because if I look for my team, Noob Racing, I won't find it here. Eventually, your team will be here, and there's, look at this thing, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 teams. 12 teams times 133. That's how many teams. That's how many teams are in this world. 133 teams. Every single team generates its own races. So if Cadillac is 93, maybe Cadillac will probably go down to 89 at some point. That's the purpose for the system. This is the actual the paddock world. This is where the developer wants to take things to have a dynamic world, changing as you progress through your calendar, through your season, through your races. But you'll see all the different teams here. Many of these teams, for example, Phantom Global Racing Janetta, Carlos Estates, and the livery that this guy uses on the G40 GT5 is the number 62. So these are their own cars. Oh, I was wrong. My bad. No. Yeah, it's freaking 12 times 133. Probably something that is gonna get tweaked, because I doubt there's that many cars in. Hold on, let me see how many cars in AMS. So it says 259 vehicles. 259 cars. Hold on, how many liveries? Bro, I'm just looking at this data. So there is over 259 cars in AMS, and there is over 1,000 different liveries. Over 1,000 different liveries. That means this world has over 1,000 different cars in the paddock world. That's why there's so many teams with different, who own different cars. Look at this. Courage C60 Hybrid. This is just awesome, bro. Oh, this one doesn't have. No cars owned. So, we'll have some teams that do not own an actual car, those teams probably will reflect how many cars in the market. So this is one team, that's another team with no car, this is another team with no car, this is another team with no car, and you do the math. So out of this world, probably, I don't know, 5% of those teams do not own a car at the moment, because those are the cars that are listed in the market for sale. And I think that's just a freaking nice feature for it. Now let's go to the next tab. By the way, this is just giving you a overall view of the team. For example, Cadillac V Series R, team strength is 93. This has to do with the team, with the staff that they have in their team. Trajectory +1 over 2 seasons. These are the sponsors that they're working with. The driver lineup, this is the drivers they have. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the cars that they own. 1, 2, 3. Hours in season record, recent moves. So for example, in 2026, lost Backer, Bell, and Ross. 2026, writing out a cash flow squeeze. So it'll give you a little bit of a summary as far as the world generation / simulation going around. So 0 titles, 0 podiums, 3 seasons. Best finish, P4. What about this one? 0 podiums, best finish, P8. So if your career, I don't know, let's say it's 2037, so you went 10 years in this game. Eventually, all of these teams, they're gonna change. They're gonna change position. This one is the highest at the moment. I'm not sure why they haven't gotten any freaking P1, but that's what the world's generated, and this is where it placed it at. So, this was brought up to the developer's attention. It'll be so nice to see your actual team name in the pool of the list of the teams here in the world. That's a must, in my opinion. And your actual team will have the same thing, the same info, the cars you own, the drivers that you have, and the little bit of information as far as season and podiums that you get. But we'll see. We will see. Now let's go to the next tab, the Rivals tab. I think this is a pretty cool one. Because the more you race in a series, the more you'll see these actual bastards trying to race with you. Every like in the couple seasons that I've had so far, there was a guy. This dude is not in here no more because I think this is from a different series. But this Carlos Estites, that dude would always get P1. And a lot of the times, that dude would like fight me for the position. He would overtake me, and you could see him overtaking like different cars. So for sure, depending on where you're landing, like if you're landing P5, give or take plus or minus 2-3 positions, you'll definitely see these guys. You'll definitely see these guys, and you'll see that in one race you were P10 and this dude John Bennett was P9. On the next race, you'll probably be P9 and you'll see this dude John Bennett fighting you for P9, but you know, he landed on P10. So I think it's pretty cool because you do notice the name of these bastards that are trying to like freaking try to get a freaking overtake on you. So this is pretty cool. I'm not sure if he develops this system further to where you're 5-10 years, for example, 5-10 years down the road in your career, and suddenly if you click, for example, John Bennett, right? If I click on this guy, I guess there's a little bit of a bug here too, because it's supposed to take you to the actual team that's racing with him in it, but it automatically is defaulted to the top team in the teams tab. So unfortunately, we can't really see where his team is at. A little bit of a bug that the dev has to sort out. But it'll tell you 3 battles. It literally keeps track of your races and whether or not this player is behind you or in front of you. If you overtake him, it'll base it off of your race results. So if your race results show that this dude was P10 and you were P11, and on the next race this guy's P11 and you were P10, it'll register right here that that's the guy you're fighting for position on the standings. So I think it's pretty dope. It's a really cool feature. There's a lot of room for progression here. I haven't hit the Nemesis spot yet. I'm still doing my playthrough, man. It's pretty cool. But here, for example, I could click him. Yeah, see, it doesn't do anything. So yeah, this is supposed to take you to the actual driver page, but it just doesn't. Like, it's supposed to take you to this, and it's supposed to take you to John. Let me see if I can find him. There it is, John Bennett. It's a little bit of a bug. It's supposed to point you to this tab instead of the Teams tab, but this is what it's meant to do. Like, once you click on it, you'll see this freaking bastard, where he's from, what the team he's racing for. He's got 1 podium, 15 starts, 0 wins, and the best podium he ever got was P2. You'll see the traits. This is, I believe this is generally generated because, I mean, writing a driving style on the quirks of all of these guys, it'll probably be a pain. So I'm pretty sure to some degree some of these descriptions are randomly generated. Personally, I don't care. This is what you care about. Overall 54, race skill 56, because when you delegate your races with your AI driver, they're gonna go up against these stats. These stats plus team stats plus the vehicle stats, that's what's gonna decide what your outcome of a race is when you're simulating and delegating to your team. Anyway, since we're on the drivers tab, you can see the career for this guy. I'm hoping, this is what I'm hoping, that 10 years down the road, when you see where your freaking rivals were at, I'm hoping that there's something here that says retired at 40 years or something like that, 35 years of age. I'm hoping that this dude goes out of the roster and a new one is generated, obviously with a much younger one, of course. So the world tab, it's the country he's from, roster seat, 5 active world links. The systems here are really deep. A lot of them connect with each other, and a lot of them I have no idea what's going on. For example, this, I don't know what active world links means. I don't know if he's signed up to different series. I have no idea. But it's I mean, this thing has potential, bro. Like, this game has a lot of potential. I hope the developer keeps going with it, and I hope a lot more people get behind it. I don't even know how long this video is, and it was supposed to be a freaking small video, but it is what it is. This is how long it's taking me. I'm no professional. I'm just trying to give you an overview of the things. So the staff tab, you will probably start with 8 people. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you'll probably start with 8 people. The world generated will come with those people. So you'll probably have a couple race engineers, or a race engineer, a couple race mechanics, For sure, you'll have operations and logistics lead. So this right here, career DNA hire, these two guys are here with these attributes based off of my choices in the beginning. The rest of these guys were generated by the world at random, and I believe these couple ones were obtained through the first season. I was able to upgrade a few things, and that gave me room for a couple more people. But as you can see, head count, it says 11 out of 26. I can go to the hiring tab. I could get another race mechanic. Let's hire this guy. So that we just sent an email. That's what the noise, the little bubble noise was. The offer to Jan Novak is out, 2K a week and 5K signing fee. Let me delete this. Let's delete the fleet because we already went through the car. My Mini Cooper couldn't be sold. The Jetta G55 is yours. The engine rebuild on the Jetta is done. Okay. So we went through the hiring process of that staff member. So when we continue, we should see a response because the calendar will generate or will fast forward up until the next event. This is the paddock, the press, media. We'll get into that a little bit later. I think the media is what needs the most tweaking around because several of the messages don't make sense. You find a lot of disconnects from the from actually what's going on with your season. So that's gonna take I think a little bit more work than other things, but we'll touch base on that later. Okay, so offer. This is a sponsor. We have been following the program and one secondary sponsor on the car. This is what happens when your prestige and your media levels are high. You will randomly get sponsors. We'll get to that in a little bit. Jan Novak accepted the offer and starts immediately. So we go to cool. Let's go to the staff tab. And now we see a 12 head count. Now, these people, so far, these people only play a role when it comes to races in your delegated races. They won't play that role when it comes to you racing. However, for example, the operations and logistics lead. I know it doesn't say here, but some of these people can give you a plus on some things. So for example, operations and logistics lead will probably give you a boost. Well, it's right here. Core skills, calendar stress, delegated weeks. The operations desk adds up to plus 0.6 crew strength when the team travels with you. So that means when you travel to your races, the crew strength will grow by 0.6. And some of these guys will stack certain points, which in turn will give you a better result on your delegated races. So far, the only races you can delegate are invitational races that happen throughout the year. I think you probably get like 4 races in the whole year. You can choose to drive those, or you could choose to delegate those races to your team. And every race comes with a fee. It'll give you a cash bonus, and that won't have an effect on your standings on the season. Anyways, race mechanic. Here you could read what it does. Mechanics feed the crew and engineering prep term of your live race package and client day income. I think the more race mechanics I hire, the more client day income will have. Pit work, delegated weekends, mechanic strength adds to the crew when the team runs and around without you. Again, pit work 61. If you get a dude with a better pit work, that would only mean that your crew strength will be higher, and therefore instead of getting P6, you'll probably get P3. You won't know until I upgrade all this, which I haven't done, because unfortunately, like I said, the only races we can delegate are the invitational races and not the actual championship races. Those have to be raced by us. So let's hire someone else. Who do we hire? Commercial lead. So deal structuring, when it comes to sponsors, the better commercial lead you have, the more money you'll be able to get from sponsors. So if we go to hiring, do we have any commercial lead? Yeah, but this one is 51. So this one gives a 1.12. Pitch valuation runs at 0.95%. So if we got a 0.95 plus, if we get another commercial lead, it'll probably give us, I don't know, 0.54 plus or something like that. So let's just hire this guy. And let's wait. Anyways, you get, this gets upgraded over time. The average quality of your team. Remember, when you go to the team pages, this right here, the overall, the strength is reflected on here. So, I mean, that's we got a mediocre team somewhat. I need to get rid of all the yellow numbers and try to hire green numbers only. Having said that, this one, Scout Market. If I press Scout, I believe there's a, in development, or I mean facilities, I think there's one facility here that actually gets us a better staff generation. I don't know which one it is, but I remember seeing something something of the sort here somewhere, but that's besides the point. So this is what that's what the staff tab is. You also can hire your driver from here. There's a little bit of a balance issue, I want to say, that is also the developer is aware of this. I've only done probably 4 invitational races with this driver. Every driver, just like in real life, he comes with some sponsorship money. So in this case, Charles Pick, the strength of this guy is 53. He comes with 6.5k per week, and his salary is 2k per week. So that means this is how much you get. If you get this guy, that's how much you get every week when you hire this driver. In my case, I get nothing. And on top of that, I gotta pay this guy 3.1k per week. But I don't want to fire this guy because when I first got him, he was like a 93 or like a 92. Well, it's right here. This is another guy generated by the World with the same name, unfortunately, but it's a different guy. Okay, so just keep in mind some of the things need more tweaking. You'll see repetitiveness every now and then, but it's in the World. This is a completely different guy from this. Okay. So this guy went from a 92 down to a 64. My only guess is it went down because I don't race with that guy enough. So I went through a full season, and this dude only put 4 races in. I don't know if that's why he lost his sponsorship. I think the system in place, that's why this happens, because this dude is not racing enough. And it's something that needs to be tweaked from the developer. Unfortunately, he needs to either get more invitational races, or he needs to make it so that our AI driver can actually race one of our legit series championship races. In the meantime, he's still part of my team. I got the money. He's still there. He's not going anywhere. What I did notice, though, is that this number keeps going down. I am testing and see how low this goes, and see if he starts racing, if it goes up. But it is what it is at the moment. Again, things are subject to change. As of right now, we got a bit of a bug with the driver AI. So, next thing. Finances. This is the finance tab. You'll see how much cash you got, how much money you spend weekly. It'll tell you how many weeks you got left. That is gonna get you through with the money you currently have. Solvency, it is healthy at the moment. There's 3 states, I believe. Healthy, cautious, or in danger of basically going bankrupt. So it's green, yellow, and red. I've been all 3 stages. The very first career that I did, I completely bankrupted my freaking team. So I had to retire with a debt of, I believe it was like 300 and something K, something like that. The season net, this right here is how much money you get at the end of the season. This number varies. This number has to do with sometimes the board, based off of your choices. When you first begin your season, they'll give you a specific amount of money. If you tell the board, hey, I'll be P10 this season, they'll be like, okay, I'll get you 150K or 250K at the end of the season as a bonus. If you tell the board, hey, I'll be P1, then the board's going to be like, okay, I'll give you 5 million or 2.5 million at the end of the season if you end up P1 for your championship. So this number varies, has to do with the sponsors. Some of the sponsors will give you better money, others won't. Debt, this is how much money you owe the bank if you have a bank loan, which is down here. It's called a credit line. It's a cool system. It grows with time. It grows by paying it down. This grows with your prestige. The less prestige you have, the lower the credit line. As you can see, I am at 100. So this went from, I think it was like 75K credit line up to 490K. I think, this is just my guess because I haven't reached that line. I think if I grow the media to 100, I think we can get the credit line even higher. Not sure that you will need it though, because once you start putting up those races and you get them sponsorships and you start winning, as you can see, you can get millions kind of fast, right? This is the general income versus outgoing. You could see this based off the week and based off the 30 days. For some reason, this is not functioning at the moment. I'm not sure if it's because I'm about to finish the calendar. We are on 29th of November, 2027. But you see here your weekly expenses versus the 30-day expenses. At the moment, I don't think I have too many expenses, so I don't know. This is probably maybe a little bug that this is not working because I don't got like an actual championship going where there's a bunch of plus and minus numbers. The transaction ledger, one thing, I mean, it's got your income throughout the whole season. and this is just per season basis. So this was August 2027. Oh, actually, you know what? No, never mind. Yeah, so you won't get the whole thing. I think it's probably the last couple months. So it will tell you the income, where it's coming from. Sometimes you'll be like, hey, how did it go from 50K to 360K? I don't even know where the money come from. Okay, so you go to finances and you go to income, and this is where you find out where the money came from. Your expenses, how much of staff, car purchases, and little events here and there that sometimes happen. The media and PR, we'll get to that in a second. So you get all the expenses. Racing, it'll give you the prize money. Race running costs, how much it takes to race at Brands Hatch, for example. How much it takes to race at Alton Park. And this comes at the, like I said in the beginning, it depends on where you station your team, on what country. That's where these numbers are gonna vary. So races, for example, and I think we chose Canada or Australia, I don't forget. So if we're racing in Australia and our team base is at Australia, you probably will see, I don't know, like 5K, 12K, in places that are not that far from your home country or your team based country, versus races happening across the globe, far away from your base country. Commercial, that's just your sponsorship, your client day, and sometimes the money you get from media, from when you give interviews and events that happen and the like. Cars, this is a really important one, pretty cool to find out as well. If you crash in your race, you will see a big amount of money here. If you crash, if you hit another car, if you totaled your car and you said, you know what, screw this, let's just finish it, and you finished as a DNF, it'll have a big red number here. So that usually shows in crash repairs. So for that one, see, I didn't crash that much, so I only had 6.1K of repairs. All of these numbers are reflected in your season net money, not in your available cash to use. So this is separate from the actual balance you have at your disposition to use to buy things and fix things manually. For example, right here from the car tab, if I were to like rebuild this car, 3.6K, that's how much I would pay to fix this one. If I want to fix the Ginetta, a full rebuild would cost me 10.3K. So in finances, these numbers, the crash repairs, a lot of those numbers go to your season net. So you won't see that negative 40.7K on some of these things. Specifically, those crash repairs in the cars. Where is it at? Crash repairs, all of that, you won't see it reflected in your actual balance, but it'll be reflected in the season net. It'll be, I would leave it so that those numbers are reflected in the balance. However, because for the most part, you'll start at the most, you probably start with like a 1.5 million balance at the highest level. At the lowest level, you probably start with like 250K, 450K. I can see why these some of the crash repairs don't reflect on here, because you pretty much be friggin' broke if every time you crash on in a race you get money taken out of your balance. So that's reflected on the season net, and you do not see this money until the end of the season. Right now we're on plus 3.27. Things can happen. You could start losing on the races. The board might get mad at you, upset at you, and instead of getting that, I don't know, 2 million bonus at the end of the season, they'll be like, hey, you're not doing well, so instead of giving you a 2 mil bonus, we're probably just gonna give you a 500k bonus because you're doing pretty bad on the season. You know, it's just a dynamic world. A lot of the choices you make will be reflected on the money you make, but that's the finance tabs. You could see the staff wages, facility upkeep. Oh, that's another thing. Now that we're touching base on that, facilities. This will require you to manually maintain it. Okay. Condition for the motorsport headquarters is 87%. I'm not sure at what condition these benefits won't be. Like I haven't done the test, to be honest. I don't know what happens at 0% condition. I don't know if you have to actually build it again. But I don't want to run that risk, right? So every now and then, you have to maintain the condition of your building. I don't know for sure. It would be a great thing if when you hit below 50%. You know what? I think that's what it is. Yeah, I remember. Maintaining, I guess the penalty is it'll be way more money the worse the condition is. I think that's what it is. Like it'll probably be like a ridiculous maintenance number here. So instead of paying 3.7k, like if you leave it, if you let it go down to like freaking 5%, you'll probably end up paying like 30k or something like that to maintain it. I hope that's what it is. If not, if the developer is watching, I think that'll be a really cool feature in the sense that it'll punish you for not keeping track of your facilities maintenance, for example, in this one. Yeah, see? So this one is at 77%, 3.7k to maintain, but this one's at 56. That's a 4k maintenance. Actually, that's a good thing. That's a good thing that I noticed that, because I'll probably bring it up to the developer's attention. There needs to be a bigger punishment for not keeping track of your maintenance on your facilities. So we'll maintain that one. That's 100%. Let's maintain that one. I do know that the higher the level, the more maintenance money required. I do know that for sure, because when I upgraded these guys, it was a bit more money to maintain them. So I haven't reached level 5, but it'll probably be freaking 15-ish k maintenance by the time I reach that, which is not a big deal because we do got money. But that's what that is. So finances. Cool. I think this is from sponsors. So in sponsorship we get 127k per race. That means we're doing great in sponsors, bro. Next, the sponsors tab. Speaking of, so on this one you'll see the satisfaction level. As long as you keep them on the green, they'll want to sign off with you on the next season, and there'll be a better opportunity for you to get more money out of them. There is 5 tiers of sponsorship. The really low one being a supplier. The next tier is the associate. Next tier is secondary. Next tier is primary. And the elite one is the title. Title sponsorship is the one that gets you the most money. But in order to get that one, you need a prestige level. I believe it was like 66 at least. 66. So if we go to offers, you can see that I'll probably have a secondary offer. Both of these guys are from secondary tier sponsorship. So one offers 7K, but the sign bonus is 14. This one is the same per race, but the sign bonus is 12. If I go to the view menu, it'll tell you right here the profile needed. It's a 26 prestige. Mine is a 100, so I am 100% on the green line with these guys. They'll sign me any day, no issues, right? However, this is the typical right here. This is the typical offer for this specific sponsor. 7K per race, 13K signing bonus, 5K winning bonus, 3K podium, 25K season target, and that's just for 8 races. Depending on your staff, depending on the upgrades, you will get better offers. You can always compare it with the typical terms and the offer on the table. You can see that I got 1K extra as a signing bonus, and we got a 2K extra on the season bonus. But we can counter. The game will automatically analyze our perks, and it'll come back with a better offer. I want to touch base on the vet button right here. Some of these sponsors, for example, let's go to the market. We got 2,488 different sponsorships, by the way. Every single one of them, it's a separate entity. It's not just the names. I believe, depending, for example, this is in United Kingdom. I think if I were to pick if my base were in Europe somewhere, it'll probably be easier to get a hold of some sponsorships, depending on where you're located in the world. It's a minor detail. It is not a big deal. Probably you won't ever notice difference, but I think it's there when it has to do when you pick your team country base. I believe the plus 8% on sponsorships on your same continent, I believe that's where it takes place. The interest on some of these sponsors will come sooner. It doesn't mean they'll never come. It just means they'll come sooner to you versus if you were far away from them. Anyways, let's go to the tier title partner. So you can base it off of region, base it off of interest. Keen, open, and cold. So if I'm at 100, let's see. If I push it on keen. So I got 3 pages, 49 brands. But if I place it on cold, yeah, I got nothing. So that means every single sponsor at some point, actually all of them, to be honest with you. I got 2,488 brands. So if I go to interest in as cold, yeah, every single sponsor. Here's a little bit of an interesting data. I'm gonna have to also bring this up to the attention of the dev. We are currently, we broke the system for the sponsorship because every single sponsor wants us, and I believe to some degree, especially the ones that are out of the your continent, they should be pretty much cold. They shouldn't even be interested in it. At least prestige, I think it comes down. It has to do with prestige. So this prestige system, it's a little bit. We pretty much broke it. The dev is aware of it, and he's currently working on fixing that. But yeah, we got to 100 way too fast. This prestige level should go up in really small increments, and in a period of a bunch of seasons, not just like 2 seasons. Anyways, back to the sponsor, what we were talking about, title partner, and all. So let's take Sony, for example. It's based off of Japan, right? If I go to view, I could investigate this company. And I think it's a pretty cool system because in one of the instances, I didn't come across this. I came across this once. In one of the actually twice. Yeah, now that I remember correctly, it's twice. In two of the instances, one of these sponsors pretty much walked away because they didn't have enough money. And there was no way for me to knowing. And like my staff actually said, hey, next time we should probably vet some of these sponsors to avoid this issue. So there's a probability that some of these companies, they will tell you, hey, yeah, we'll give you 25K per race, and as a season bonus we'll get you 104K. So they'll probably give you halfway through the season, they'll probably give you 4 races, you'll get 25K. But then they'll tell you, hey, so we're kind of broke, bro. And turns out we won't be able to pay you the 104K. And if you're balanced, if you're down to 65K and you were counting with that budget at the end of the season, now you're on negative numbers. Now you don't got money. Now the board is mad because they have to give you money to keep this season going. And suddenly you lose prestige, and suddenly you lose this, and suddenly you lose that. The system in itself still needs more balancing. I feel like this vetting system could go a little bit more deep, in the sense that there should be a bunch more sponsors that would pretty much backstab you like that throughout your career. So it's a pretty cool thing, you know, because it'll simulate whether or not that company has good integrity or it doesn't. So let's go to the mail and let's simulate that. Yeah, so this is saying that we submitted the vetting. So let's delete all of it and let's click continue. Okay. Report ready. The scouting passed on 600 days surfaced and the hiring. Okay, yeah, because we were. There's a scouting. Every certain amount of months or weeks, you get scouting done for drivers and staff members. Let's see. We run your counter though. See, now we get 9K per race, and before it was 7K. The better numbers come from having good staff, having good sponsorship pool. So and prestige. I assume prestige has everything to do with that. Anyways, so I don't see the report for the vetting. 6 candidates accepted the offer. Start meeting the design fees charge. Okay, let's go to the calendar. Deadline, decision window. I don't know what that is. Reply due. Sony. So we gotta go to the 3rd of December for us to actually see what the vetting result was. So let's go ahead with the calendar. Here we go. Commercial intelligence. The due diligence on Sony is complete. Findings: a steady book of business, a dependable backer by industry standards. No usual clauses or behaviors on record. It's very superficial. I I think the dev is planning to get this system to go even further. You know, it could probably have a reputation hit on the prestige, depending on the sponsorship. I don't know. Hey, turns out, this is just an example, right? Hey, turns out Sony was involved in a scam, in a scam or fraud lawsuit. Our prestige as a race team took a dive, and suddenly everybody is talking crap about us because because Sony suddenly became known for this lawsuit or something. So things like that could pop up in this vetting system. For example, the deals with XXXXX whatever company, blah 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 blah, is getting Sony in a huge reputation war. Signing them as a sponsor will do negative 10 media, for example, negative this much prestige, something like that. And then you have a choice here. Yes, let's go with them anyways. No, we'll decline the offer or something like that. But there's a lot of things you could do with the vetting system that is not being implemented. But I mean, there's room for growth right there. So that's the sponsorship. The manufacturer, we explained it earlier. Very simple. You get a few perks when you have good standing with the brands. The media, for example, here I got 3 sponsors. When you make deals with them, they'll tell you, hey, depending, actually, let's go to the sponsors so you guys can see. So if you go to market, right, title partner, ABB. So we could click the approach. Since they have keen interest in us, we could click approach, and this will give you a, oh no, okay, it's not here. Probably maybe when the offer comes in, you can actually input your manual terms, but we'll skip for now. And let's see if we can get eyes on that so that you guys can see. Anyways, I got 3 sponsors here. In the clauses that I signed with them, I said I'll give you 3 PR days in the month, or in the month. No, not in the month. It gives you weeks. So for example, this one, I need to give crypto 3 PR days. So days where I talk about them one way or another. And I got 9 weeks to get that in. If I don't get the PR days in those 9 weeks, it'll give me a warning here. And crypto will take a dislike at me in their meter. So the way you do this is you come down here and you'll have predetermined choices. Each choice will cost you money, and each choice will also give you benefits. So for example, exclusive interview, big stands gain there, mild jealousy elsewhere, right? I can't pick this one because I picked it last time, but for example, for the PR sponsors, I would do like a sponsor PR shout out, right? So let's run that. It'll cost me AK. It'll be a 21-day cooldown. See, now I met the expectations of 2 of my sponsors. I still have to meet the expectations of crypto.com. But I got 9 weeks to do so. So it's not a big deal. And that's how you gain standings with the sponsors when you have to do PR days for them. If you tell them, hey, I'll give you 5 PR days, they will probably, they're going to give you a lot more money not only on your race days, but at the end of the season. So that hopefully I can get to that window to show you guys. And right here we got the news media. As you can see, I am green on all of them. This comes down to you doing interviews for them, answering predetermined events with predetermined answers. Some of them give you points, others take points away. But at the moment right now, I'm on good standing with the media. I'm still not sure what happens when you're full out all green. I'm not sure what happens, but that's the press, PR. We go to the social aspect of it. This is where we gain fans, and fans in turn will get us more prestige and will get us more sponsor pool. So you get predetermined options. All of these options are subject to change. Obviously, maybe the dev will add more things. Maybe the dev will take things out. But as of this moment, this is what he's got going on. And every single option will get you either plus or minus on some things. So, for example, result push, lead with the stopwatch, lands big after a strong weekend, reads as cringe after a shocker. So this is what it does. Big gain after a good weekend, backfires after a bad one. If I click on here, on my next race, if I win a good podium, it'll tell me, there's gonna be a news or something, right? Noob Racing delivered on the race at Daytona, for example, and it'll have +4 media, plus, I don't know, 3.5 fans or something like that. But all of these are predetermined. At the moment, they're predetermined decisions. They'll always be the same thing. Damper data at work, so small manufacturer standing bump with an active programming. Oh, actually? Actually, never mind, dude. Let me see. Closes a year warming. Partners and outlets approve. Strong follower gain plus a profile bump while in contention. No, yeah. These are the same. It's usually I pick this one because I want to get the followers. But if I scroll down, there's more options here. But yeah, I always put. So yeah, these are all the same all the time, and everything depending on what you're going for is gonna boost one thing or another. But yeah, usually I go for the follower gains. So if I click this, title charge followers plus 355. So that's what I got on that one, and plus 0.5 media. This is the result down here. All of these numbers will always vary. Championship permutations and running pressure, the fees are glued. So I'm not 100% sure as to what determines this specifically, but all I know, it has to do with being in good standing with the media, being in good standing with the sponsor pool. The better numbers you'll have down here somehow, because I went from 25. I went from 140 to 354 now, but that, I think that's just because I'm in good standing with the media down here, and I'm in good standing with the sponsor pool. Plus the board is a plus 1.5%, so I'm doing great, man. So that's the media window. Give me 1 second, guys. I am trying to get a text going. Legacy. The legacy is the window where it's going to keep track of all your career for that specific career save. And not only that, it'll tell you how you did in the last career that you had. I'm not sure how this one works. I know there's like 3 different endings for your career. I already hit the first one, which was bankrupting your team. So I literally had to retire the team. And that's what it says right here, collapse, ended July 13, 2026. This was my previous career. This is a new career, it's a new save, but it keeps track of your old saves when you actually finish. I believe the other finish in the career is when you retire to the sunset. I'm not sure if you're supposed to hit 100% media, 100% prestige. I'm not sure if your name needs to be all the way up, establish the name. I think that's what it is. After I have established my name and I have reached the all the way up, I don't know, man. I don't know how that's gonna work. I'm still discovering that at the moment. But you can retire to the sunset, meaning you achieve the best everywhere, and you're gonna decide that you will retire it. Personally, I think it has to do with the home screen on the board dossier. I think it has to do with this, because instead of walking away, I'll probably have another button that says something else, and that is gonna officially end that career save file. And based off of that, on your legacy, you'll see down here that, hey, on this day, whatever racing, retire to the sunset or something like that with the best numbers ever. In the meantime, this is what you got going on for this particular save in your current playthrough. The trophy cabinet, it'll give you different things. These are achievements, which I think it's great, because I know some people are gonna want to like fill this up with a bunch of trophies. Going concern, team valuation past 5 million, that was an achievement. Championship, a championship title, Geneta G40 Cup 2027. We got a title on that one. We got a title on the Brazilian touring. Team's first viral moment. It was on August 6, 2027. Sold out. Every sponsor slot filled at once. Every slot signed 20. So you're gonna have somewhat of an achievements list here called the trophy cabinet, and obviously you will have the record books. It'll tell you how much money you generated, highest team valuation, longest sponsorship partnership, blah 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 blah. So it's just a cool thing for you to see at the very end, something you can show off. And not only that, it'll give you the season yearbooks, a little mini summary, I guess, for what you did. So on the first season in 2026, this is what I did. My first million. These are the trophies that I won in 2026. This is what I raised. These are the silly seasons. I was debating on whether or not that's important to have on here, but anyways, a little summary for what I did on 2027. So I got more trophies, I got more income, and yeah, so that's the legacy tab. And last but not least is the Invitationals tab. Throughout the calendar, you'll have races here that you can sign up to. For example, that one, I signed up for that one. It's always like a cash grab, so this one pays out 9K just to show up to the race. It'll give you the odds of winning 98% based off of I think your team strength and the difficulty of the different AI drivers, I guess. And that one says pending. So, but these are the ones that I have participated in. All of these races have been through the delegating. So P4, P3, P7, P6, P6, all of that have been through the delegating. Some of these things require a car. Some of them provide you the car. So if you don't have a car, you'll get an email saying, sorry, we didn't sign you up. If they provide the car, you don't even have to worry about buying a car. You could just sign up to the race, and it's free money. But that's the invitationals. So if we go with the calendar forward, that's the sponsorship offer. Nothing's committed until they confirm. That's saying that they sent. It's unproven and could go either way. We can trust the data and run it, or play safe and stick with what we know. A brilliant supplier engineer is pushing a radical setup direction backed by reams of data. It's unproven, so we can get two choices: trust the data or play it safe. Based on that decision, we'll get a hit on a few things. Let me delete this email. So we got 14 days of setup tweaks. Ren Takahashi warned you. So we ran Ren Takahashi setup. The car came alive, and he's thrilled. We believe in it. We believed in him. So that was my race engineer saying that we got 14 days of a boost. I would very much like for what the to see what the boost is here. All I know is that it's a boost for the team strength, and the delegated races will have a little better podium probability simulation. Anyways, so that's all the tabs. That's the overview. Oh, we still have to cover the prestige. So this is not. Yeah, so I guess this is the menu for the prestige. Established name. We already reached 100 on that one. It shouldn't be that easy, but again, the dev already knows what's up with this. He's tweaking some things. Because at this point, there's absolutely nothing else we can do. This number is gonna stay at 100, so he's making it so that one can take prestige hits, and this number can go down with some bad choices. That's what he's currently working on. But as it stands right now, prestige is already set. We already established the name. There's nothing else for us to do other than going up on the legacy score. But yeah, team valuation. This is the home screen tab. Yeah, all of this is summary of what's going on with this. That's pretty much what I got so far. There is nothing else other than maybe looking at the settings. You got master volume, music, ambience, interface. The window shape is telling you how to do the AMS2 integration. Telemetry says offline because my game is not on. Yep, that's what that is. Nothing else. So, yeah, man. That's the race day. There's no, currently I'm not signed on to anything. That's what this says, complete. None of this is gonna change until I actually go into a series and sign up to one. But I don't think I've done that yet. If you don't do that, you literally just go through the whole calendar wasting money here weekly. If you don't sign up to, that's an option. I mean, you could literally go through the whole calendar and use that money to develop whatever it is you got to develop in your facilities and development. However, you should always pay attention to the series, because all of them have specific dates at which they start. Mind you, parenthesis here, it's another thing that the dev is currently working on right now. This button it says ineligible because I don't have the car, but this is also currently being fixed. But here on this one, I am able to enter, even though this is supposed to start, or was supposed to start on May 21st, right? So all of this should be available. It should be grayed out until you go past into year 2028. But it's in the dev's hands now. He's aware of this issue. He's currently working on the fix. But yeah, that's on my behalf. Hopefully, I know it was a long video, but I hope I covered to this date as far as what we got going on with the paddock. I hope I covered most of what I could, so that you know what the application is all about, and hopefully you guys can get behind the development of this app. It's $12 with unlimited updates for whenever the dev updates, and he also has a free download for you to try it. I believe it's one full season that you can try. You can repeat careers with different options at the beginning of the of the career, and you can basically play through as many one-season careers as you want. But yeah, that's the Paddock for you guys. It's a great app, great potential. A lot of things need to be tweaked. A lot of balance. Things need to be changed. But so far, man, this thing, I love it. Like it's great. There's a bunch of room for improvement, and there's a lot of potential here. And hopefully we can get behind these guys so that he can. It's just one developer, by the way, and hopefully we can get this going into with deeper systems, better results, variety on the championships, variety on the different AIs, the different teams, and yeah, man, it's its own world. So until next time, thank you for listening. If you reached all the end of this video, and see you on the next one.